Hey, Facebook, how you doing? It's me, MJ. I am back at it again today with my Throwback Thursday. Um, this was so much fun last week. I had a ton of views. Thank you guys for everybody who tuned in and commented and participated. I really enjoyed it. That encouraged me to keep it going. So I'm back at lunch again. Out here on my lunch break, getting ready to share another little fun book snippet. Hey, Victoria, how you doing? From the first book I ever wrote called A Heart Not Easily Broken. Last week, we talked about uncomfortable little black dresses and a man's hands. I know, really crazy weird, right? This week, we're going to be talking about what happens when you when you're trying to meet a guy and you have a certain type that you're trying to go for, but unfortunately somebody else comes along that you least expected. Or as I like to call this in my not Darth Vader, but my Star Wars voice, it's not the man you're looking for. Yeah, I'm a Star Wars fan. And by the way, so is Ebony, the character of Heart Not Easily Broken. So without further ado, I'm going to get started on this. Oh, and by the way, hi, Charlotte. And by the way, at the end, I do have some contest information for you guys because I am going to be giving away an audiobook copy of A Heart Not Easily Broken. But you guys stay tuned for details. So that's it. Let's get going. Okay, so last week, you met Ebony and one of her friends, Yasmin. The girls took her out to the club, Ebony to the club, trying to get her hooked up with a guy for the weekend. Ebony is like, she's uncomfortable in this little dress. She's, feels like all her little girly parts is a little bit hanging out there a little bit. So she's a little uncomfortable. But she decides she's going to be like, hey, you know what? Girls got me out here. Let me go ahead and rise to the challenge because I ain't got nothing else to do. So here we go. From Ebony's point of view, chapter 1 of A Heart Not Easily Broken. I rose to the challenge and made my way onto the crowded dance floor through the myriad of swaying bodies, again adjusting my dress's hem, with one goal in mind, to meet the drummer. After securing a spot near the front of the stage, I raised my hands and began to dance. For the first time in months, I forgot about books, the stress of my internship at the zoo, and work at the clinic. I closed my eyes and got lost in the music, letting it guide my body in sensual movements while telegraphing my desire, hoping the drummer would notice my body language. The song ended, and I opened my eyes to cheer with the rest of the crowd. I was noticed all right. Various men in my immediate vicinity threw out catcalls and whistles, which were flattering, but the drummer paid me no attention. In fact, only one of the band members seemed to notice me. One of the guitar players watched me intently. Astonished, I nearly stumbled in my heels. He was attractive, but he was white, not what I was aiming for. My lips tilted in a small smile before I moved out of his line of sight, placing myself in front of the dancers who moved closer to the stage, blocking my view of the drummer. The next song played, and again, I tried to get lost in the music. My eyes closed, but it was impossible to find my groove again without feeling stalked. The hair on the back of my neck stood up. My gaze traveled the length of the stage, and the guitar player, who once again watched me with a predatory gleam. When the song ended, I worked my way back to the bar. Neither Yasmin nor Caitlin were there. They must have gone to the bathroom. What can I get you, miss? The bartender asked, interrupting my thoughts. After the MC announced the band was taking a brief intermission, music blasted from the speakers again. Margarita, extra shot of tequila, please. The bartender nodded and went to fill my order. Did you get a load of that blonde guitar player? He's hot. My attention turned to a busty brunette who'd taken up residence in the seat next to me. I recognized her as being one of the women who danced next to me. She adjusted her boobs, primping while talking to her friend. He doesn't know it yet, but I'm going home with him tonight, she continued. Her friend giggled. Good luck. She had a better chance than I did at finding a man tonight. Here you go. The bartender placed a napkin in front of me with my drink. I've got this, a deep voice said, close to my ear, making me jump. It was incredibly sexy, despite the fact that it scared me. It also sent a warm tingle down my spine. Intrigued, I turned and found myself face to face with the guitar player. The same one my barstool neighbor wanted to go home with. Any sort of coherent words failed me. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. Two dimples rested either side of firm lips while he smiled. Wow, the man looked good from the dance floor, but up close, his presence demanded my full attention. He was tall, probably a good 6'2" to my 5'5". His build reminded me of a well-built basketball player. The low lights of the club reflected off damp blonde hair with dark undertones. His confident smile cocked to the side, revealing pearly white teeth. The blue shirt he wore complemented the color of his eyes, sparkling like waves of ocean while hinting at mischief. Baggy shorts and a pair of clean black Converse completed his attire. He turned to the bartender. Joe, pour her drink on my tab. I'll have the usual. The bartender nodded before walking away. The blonde focused his gaze back on me, watching before he spoke again. You're not going to thank me? I raised my eyebrows at his comment. I didn't ask you to pay for my drink. I couldn't understand a man who expected me to be ecstatic because he brought me a drink. I was capable of doing that myself. Humor flashed in his eyes. Excuse me for being a gentleman. Unfortunately, it's too late for you to pay. Guess you're stuck. He reached for his beer when the bartender returned, twisted off the cap, and took a huge swig. Stuck? Is that what he thought? Passing the drink over to the brunette, saying it came from him, and then ordering my own sounded like a good idea. But at $10 a drink, I'd be a fool not to accept a freebie. Instead of saying thanks, I said, don't let this dress fool you. If you expect me to sleep with you because you brought me a drink, forget it. My focus left him and resumed searching the crowd for my friends. I turned back around in time to catch blue eyes exploring the length of my body. That was not my intention. His eyes now focused above the deep cleavage of my dress. Since we've gotten that out of the way, maybe you'll answer this question. I narrowed my eyes. What? He chuckled. What's your name? He extended a hand. I'm Brian. My focus immediately went to his hand. Large palm, slightly calloused, sporting a deep tan. His nails were a little rough, fingers sporting a few cuts, but they were clean. I glanced back up at his face. This white man was hitting on me. I was flattered knowing he watched me dance, but buying me a drink and asking my name, what did he expect to happen next? He waited patiently, his hands suspended in midair. Ebony. I accepted his handshake. Ebony. That's a beautiful name. The tingle going up my spine from the way it rolled off his tongue and the sensation of our connected hands kept my lips from moving. That, excuse me, this was unreal. I didn't expect any kind of spark from him. I studied his eyes. Lust and desire weren't visible, but there was something else. Something made him hold my hand longer than necessary. I squirmed involuntarily before being the first to turn away. A meeting like this is not the best way to get to know someone. He released my hand before leaning down to talk to me without yelling quite as loud. My, my body tingled at the warm caress of his breath near my ear again. The scent of his musky cologne mixed with sweat from standing under the stage lights was alluring. The heat of his body inviting. We're just going to stop right here right now. So, guys, what do you think ended up happening? Hey, Miss Turner, how you doing? Well, we'll come back to that at another point in time. We're gonna just cut that off right there because I am on my lunch break, okay? So, as promised, as I said, part of my doing these live book readings is just to give you some behind the scenes ideas or let you know what kind of inspired different things in this scene. So some questions that I have been asked over the years regarding, why did I choose to write interracial romance? I guess it was just a matter of what I was watching at the time. Because like I believe I told you guys last week, or if I did say it last week, I'll say it now. Part of what inspired me to get started writing was watching the show Lost. I love the character development on that show. I used to be on the show's online chat sites all the time. And one time they had a contest of getting people to write fan fiction. So I came up with this character whose name was not Ebony at the time. I honestly could not remember what her name was, but we'll just still say her name was Ebony, who was looking to become a veterinarian, which is what Ebony does. And I just plugged her into literally the whole entire first season of Lost. Like, I have the pages somewhere. My family got a chance to read it, and quite frankly, that's the reason why I ended up writing. Because my husband actually challenged me with that. He was one day, because he got tired of seeing me play a video game. He was like, "What happened to that short story you wrote? Why don't you go do some of that?" It was pretty decent. So me having no idea how to write, because I've always been a reader, I pulled it out and said, "Hey, okay, well, let me watch season 2 of Lost, and we'll just plug her into season 2." I didn't like the way that was going. So what I decided to do was start up my own story. And since I couldn't come up with anybody else, I said, well, why don't I take this girl and figure out what I could do with her? So the plot line originally for Ebony was a maturation plot, to where she originally was like 18 years old, had just graduated high school, and her family was about to drive her from North Carolina to Los Angeles to go to UCLA to stay to become a veterinarian. And I mean, I had Yasmin in there. All the girls was in there. Yasmin, Caitlin was in there. Brian, who ends up being the love interest in the story, he was in the book, along with his roommate. And originally in the original story, Ebony was actually dating a roommate. And then they broke up, and she ended up falling for Brian. Actually, that still wasn't a bad story. But as time went on, things changed, and I actually started learning how to write by going to the library, which is where I work at now, by the way. And checking out books on learning, on how to write, and finding out that the 3 months it took me to write this one book that I was like, oh God, this is great. Yeah, I believe it was Walter Mosley has a book that's called "It Takes a Year to Write Your Book." I can't remember the exact title, but it's something similar to that. I read that and realized, oh my God, I know absolutely nothing. It was time to start learning. So I started putting in some time and learning how to write. And then I kind of digressed from the original question, which was, how did this turn into an interracial romance? Well, I guess I kind of touched on it. But really, it turned into an interracial romance too, because as I was sitting here just trying to come up with these ideas about how to do the story and who having the story and whatnot, I've always been one that I like to base, and I think most writers do this, base my characters off of people that I can watch, especially when it comes to actors on TV, because I will, like, when I find a character or actor that I can see in my mind as being one of the characters that I want to use, I will watch everything about that person is on, just so I can study their body language, their gestures, the way they talk, the way they walk, because I'll take some of those things and I'll put them into the character that I'm writing, because it just helps build up the reality of the character. Well, I'll say this, Ebony had several different actresses that came to mind. Megan Good was one of them. And I think in the end, I really went with Gabrielle Union. It's kind of who I could see as being my basis for Ebony. As far as Brian, okay, I am a Fast and Furious fan, okay? We have like all the Fast and Furious movies, or had all the Fast and Furious movies. And at this time, I was on a Fast and Furious binge because, loving Vin Diesel. Well, Vin Diesel wasn't the type of what I was looking for, but Paul Walker, that's where the blonde hair and the blue eyes came from. Paul Walker, R.I.P. I was a big fan of his, still am. In fact, this book was published probably about 2 years before his tragic death. And I will tell you, when that man died, I literally, for 2 days, I was heartbroken and sad. It was almost like I had lost an actual family member. And for a couple of days, I had to remind myself, because it felt like, since I based so much of him, of the character of Brian, on his character in the Fast and Furious, or just the actor himself, I felt like I had lost a loved one. I was that sad for like 2 days, and then I had to get out of it and be like, girl, first of all, I don't know the man. B, the character in my book is just the character in my book. So let it go. It's not that serious. Life goes on. And that's how that happened. Um, let's see. I'm just looking at my notes. I think I did kind of already answer all those questions. Yeah, I actually had it on here to talk about Lost. But other than that, how, like I said, how it ended up being a story of, instead of it being a story of her coming from high school and going to college and her experiences and how she ended up getting into an interracial relationship. As I was doing my studying on how to write and the best way to write the story, I decided that instead of trying to write a plot line of a girl that was younger coming into her own and her life experiences, I decided to pretty much take all the same characters, the same setting, the same college, the same friends, switch it up just a little bit. And instead of Ebony going to school, she was actually in the published version of A Heart Not Easily Broken. She's getting ready to start her final year of college, which instead of her being like 18 puts her roughly around about 24 or 25, if I remember correctly. So she's literally getting ready to finish her last year of college. She's on the verge of getting her veterinary degree. She's been just like a diehard in the books all the time person, which is why her friends made her go out for the summer before she started her last year so she could have a fling, make some friends. And that's how Ebony met Brian. So, hi, Swana, how you doing? Okay, let's see. You left a comment. Hi, thank you so much. Okay, that's something you could use for another book as something that comes out. The other guy that I wish I could, but unfortunately, with the way the storyline of Heart Not Easily Broken goes, the roommate, hopefully, there we go. Okay, I moved my mouse and my screen disappeared off here. Unfortunately, with the way that A Heart Not Easily Broken go, that don't go too well, because that guy is so not her kind of man at all. And yeah, but without giving details away yet, I don't know. But I will tell you this: if you have not read, I do have a for anybody out there who has read A Heart Not Easily Broken, I actually do have a short story that's a follow-up. That is actually a follow-up to A Heart Not Easily Broken that literally picks up at the end of A Heart Not Easily Broken. It is a free story that if you follow my newsletter, you'll be able to download that for free. And that just tells you, it literally picks up at the end of A Heart Not Easily Broken, probably like a day or two later, and let you know what happens. It was a fun little short story to write. It's actually a Christmas themed story. So even though it's midsummer, hey, you can have Christmas in the summertime if you haven't had it before. But if you want to follow me, follow my newsletter, just visit my website, mjkanemedia.com, and you'll find just look up at the little tops of the tabs, you'll find a little link of where you can join my newsletter. For there. Once you log onto the page, there is a blue box that pops up that says for you to sign up. If you sign up, you'll be following this. You'll sign up on that. You'll be signed up to follow the website. Please do. I need some followers on my website. That way, anytime there's a new blog post or anything that comes up, contest or anything like that that's announced through my blog, you'll be able to get that information to your email. Then still look for the other tab where you can sign up for my actual newsletter. It definitely comes out with little sneak peeks, behind the scenes stuff that I don't always put online or on Facebook or anything, and you can definitely get that information as well. But I do have to cut it down because this break time is almost over. I like these little lunchtime breaks. This is kind of cool. And as you see, I decided to come outside today, so I apologize for all the noise in the background. We're near a busy street where his library is, so hopefully you've been able to hear me well, and I was hopefully speaking loud enough. I won't know until I play the feedback on here, but hopefully you guys could hear me well enough. We'll see where I am next week when I go on my lunch break. But before I go, like I said in the comments here, I am going to start a contest. I'm going to try to do this weekly to see how it goes. But I am looking to give away a free copy of the audiobook version from Audible of A Heart Not Easily Broken. If you don't have Audible, That's not a problem. All you have to do is just sign up for it, and you can get the code. Like I said, the book will be free. Um, I've liked it because it is something that's different. Um, and I've had a lot of great feedback on actually on the audiobook, and I'm looking forward to getting the other copies of the Butterfly Memoir series set up as audiobooks. It'll be a little bit different, but we're working towards those steps now. But in the meantime, if you would like to have the audiobook version, all you have to do is follow some certain steps that I have. If you look down at the bottom of the description of here of this post, you'll see a link that should take you to my MJ Kane, the author Facebook page, and that should take you to a direct link that has the raffle copy contest link on there. And just follow the little things on Rafflecopter, and that will get you plugged into the contest. The contest will be ending, I believe it's going to be next Thursday when I come back on and do another short reading, and we'll find out what happens to Ebony and Brian now that they've connected at the bar. Wonder what happens when alcohol gets involved. Come back next week to find out. But in the meantime, like I said, just follow that contest, enter. Please feel free to share it. Please feel free to share this video with anybody you think that might be interested. And I'll be going into Rafflecopter next week to find out who won, and I will be announcing the winner next week. But also, please, again, to all three people who are on here right now, I appreciate it. Hey, thank you so much for the love. You have no idea how much that means. But please make sure you comment. If you have any questions, comments, anything you want to say, please leave it down here. I will be going back over the next couple of days, most definitely this evening, to see what anybody has asked or had to say, and I will definitely put my comments back in there and make sure you get tagged so that when I respond to your question or your comment, that you get a direct hit up on Facebook to let you know to come back through and check it out. But other than that, that's going to be about it for me. Hey, thank you so much for the hearts and the smiles and sunshine, smiles and sunshine. So other than that, let me go back in here before they come out here knocking on the door talking about MJ, you need it back at your desk. So other than that, guys, have a great week. Take care of yourself wherever you are in the U.S. right now, because there's a whole lot of craziness going on between fires and earthquakes and everything else we got going on. Extremely hot weather. Only reason I'm able to be outside because this is Georgia, y'all. Georgia got that heat that will knock you out. Like at this point, I'm happy my curls are still looking this way. It must not be too humid right now, or else I mess around and have a big fluff ball on me. Anyway, let me chill and go. I will talk to you guys next week. And in the meantime, be safe, keep reading. And oh, by the way, as the books are being republished, the next book that's going to be coming up, if you guys have not read it, is Nobody's Business, which is actually the twin brother of Ebony, who we're talking about today. His book is going to be out August the 27th. It is available right now for pre-sale on all platforms. So if you got Amazon, Nook, iTunes, Google Play, Smashwords, Kobo, you can go to any of those sites right now and get it for 99 cents, and it will be delivered to you on the 27th of August, the day that it's released. But in between that, there's another little surprise, but I'm going to let you guys know about that in the next week or two. I think you'll like it. So other than that, I'm signing off and going back in here, going to work. Have a good day. Happy reading, friends. Bye.